Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this evening, you met 4 individuals who have formed a bond to help people on the other side of the world. These 4 friends formed a partnership to help a group of people that they have never met and went into an area not many of us would dare visit. On April 26, 1986, one of the world's worst nuclear disasters happened in Chernobyl, Ukraine. At the time, the power plant was under the jurisdiction of the Russian government, and no one was prepared for something like this to happen. The effect could be felt all over Western Russia and Europe, but one of the regions that was hardest hit was the country we now know as Belarus. As international aid left the area, individuals kept up the cause by starting their own programs and initiatives to give survivors and the next generation a brighter future and a chance to rebuild their lives. This is the story of how these individuals provided the needed support and how the game of hockey has become one of the rallying points for the town of Chelsea.
There's been a nuclear accident in the Soviet Union, and the Soviets have admitted that it happened. The Soviet version is this. One of the atomic reactors at the Chernobyl atomic power plant near the city of Kiev was damaged, and there is speculation in Moscow that people were injured and may have died. The Soviets may have been fairly quick to acknowledge the accident because evidence...
Canada, or even in particular Ottawa, has been hosting children from the Chernobyl-affected areas of Belarus since 1991. As a family, we got involved in 1996 by hosting a child into our home for 6 weeks at that time.
And the main reason we bring these children is to give them a break from the radiation. So they're getting 5 to 6 weeks, depending on the program, in Canada that's free from radiation. They're getting healthy food, good air, clean air, water, and they're getting a break so that their immune system has a chance to build itself up.
In 1998, we saw the need for sending humanitarian aid over to the Republic of Belarus, to the contaminated regions. Our first stop was the orphanage in Chelsea, or the town of Chelsea. The Chelsea orphanage has the only hockey team for an orphanage within the whole country.
Back in 1997, we were as a family, were very much aware of the work that Dave, through the Canadian Aid For Chernobyl, were doing in Belarus, and we became really involved, maybe on a minor way at the beginning, sending over lawnmowers and chainsaws and riding tractors and sporting goods equipment. And finally one time Dave said, well, I think we really need to start a hockey team, so we got together and we sent over 50 sets of hockey gear.
For the kids, it meant everything. I mean, suddenly these kids went from being sort of the outcasts in society to they not only got to have a hockey team, which no other orphanage has, they have the best equipment for kids probably in the entire country, and when they stepped out onto the ice, they just looked like the best hockey team in the country.
You take the president's favorite sport, put it into an impoverished area, into an orphanage, and all of a sudden you've got these children participating in provincial hockey tournaments.
These kids had 50 sets of some of the finest hockey gear in the country of Belarus, and yet what they lacked was the coaches to train them or to teach them the game. And Dave said, well, why don't you come over and teach these boys? And we thought, wow, that's a pretty neat idea. So that's kind of how it was born.
We're trying to teach them more than just how to stick handle and how to shoot and pass. But that's certainly part of it, and I don't know if they realize that necessarily, that we're working on so many other life skills that hopefully will serve them well when they leave the orphanage.
The very first year that we went, the first person I contacted was Mark Bono at the Sens, saying, okay Mark, we're trying to pull this off. I'm looking for things that we could do to reward the children or let's be part of an NHL club, and they opened us with open arms, and Mark's just been fantastic since then, with all kinds of trinkets for the kids, and you see them all with their Ottawa Senator hats on, or this last year little flashlights, and that may sound kind of corny, but it wasn't, because they're all using these flashlights in the orphanage, and hockey jerseys. They've just been A1 super.
It obviously builds characters and builds a positive environment for all the children living in the Chelsea orphanage, and of course a tremendous sense of pride, and that pride carries with them forever.
And of course hockey itself teaches them about team play, working together, all those great lessons that our kids are used to getting.
whether it's success with soccer, success with biathlon, and now success with hockey, it definitely is establishing a broader sense of community.
What we're really trying to do is build stronger kids who can carry forward to build a better life for themselves.
Dave's, in my opinion, is one of the finest Canadians I've ever had the opportunity to meet and rub shoulders with and work with.
It's inspiring to watch him be there, because we'll go over and he goes over first, he stays late. We suffer from jet lag, and he's always the first person there in the morning. It was so much enthusiasm, and the schedule that he keeps is unbelievable.
Yes, we can provide children with hockey equipment, we can provide children with all the different sports equipment, computer equipment and so on. But if you talk about developing character, developing pride, self-esteem, self-worth, and having an opportunity not only to engage themselves in a sport of hockey, but being coached, being taught, and being surrounded by Canadians that actually develop the sport. I think that has to be the strength that really everything that we're doing together in our partnership is providing for these kids.